FIFA kill has soaked into the mix as well. Things are shaking up. So without further ado, game number 5. Lucky, Space, take it away.
Lucky, we get back to that conversation we had a little bit earlier about when do you start to see teams and start to make your move on some of the top pros in these tournaments, in these games. Like if you run into a Biffle, if you run into a Gorgo Knight, do you take that challenge? Now I posture up that question to both these squads. Do they start to go on the hunt for the top players and within the top 4? Like, what does the situation look like? What would you do in this spot? Would you try to hunt for some of the top placing teams and try to get them out of the way? Or do you just go back to the office like another day there?
I think, as a competitor, you got to be realistic with yourself and, what your squad's capable of on that day. Because any day can be different, right? You might see a team pop off on one day, 1 week, at the next week not be, not be even in top 3. So you got to feel for the squad, how you're doing, and be like, all right, what's realistic? All right, top 3 gets us the money. Just say, okay, are we going to be able to contest Diaz and really try to get him out? No, he's too far, far in the lead for us. I think take note on where you're fighting at, who you're fighting at, and if you're fighting and you're running to, as soon as you run to Diaz's team, whether that's second or third zone, and you just are falling, avoid that area, right? You don't want to, continuously, keep pushing the same area and having the same results. If you just die, maybe try to work another route, try to work a different, landing spot, anything to really get you back in the mix, because you're not out literally till the last match anyways. So, try new things. This is where you want to try different routes. So just keep trying and expecting different results, and you're not really changing anything.
That's kind of what we saw last game with Gorgo trying to rotate late. It was like they kept running into the same squad. They had squads to their back. They had squads in front of them in zone, sure, already posted up and ready for the rotation. But they kept running into the same team. I think it was they were running into TBE every now and then. Them are rated. And they were, taking him down one at a time. But it came down to just, obviously that's free eliminations, but you're also taking down some of the best players in the lobby. So victim of circumstance, sure. But in these instances, luck does play a factor. However, if you can avoid the likes of Biffle, if you can avoid the likes of Gorgo Knight and you're a team within top 4 or top 6 contention, I think that's your best bet because the multiplier is so important. That's really what a lot of teams have relied on in this tournament. You're going to look at the outliers like Biffle who are putting up 20, 25, maybe pushing 30 eliminations a game, and the likes of Gorgo Knight doing the same. You don't have to push yourself to that pace. Just try to stay consistent into the end game. It always reigns supreme. And starting off things hot, again, it was, of course, our Game 4 winner as well as our Game 2 winner. 2 back-to-back victories today. That Game 3 was won by Gorgo Knight, but still, the damage has been done here from this trio. We'll see if they can find another one here. That's a dangerous chopper. Okay.
I could get a little crazy there. Good UAV coming in, and Diaz is going to have bird's eye, letting them know the direction the players are looking, a little bit more of a consistent UAV. So if you're a player like Diaz, right, or even Sage, or you're being the entry man for the squad, having this perk is going to be key.
Yeah, is he running?
They're going to hunt someone. And again, when this team finds a player or a squad that they want to go after, they're not chaotic or messy about it. They get right to the point. They'll find a lane that works for them, and they move throughout, take teams down in their way, and they get the job done like they're doing here. At range, Biffle's so good.
Not fighting each other.
Most coming out of them, and there you go. We have Sage bottom left being the entry man as he tries to look over and get some picks down. He's going to get armor break on one player, dropping in between these two buildings. Sage might be there for the cleanup. Gonna get the call of a knock. Sage gonna fall not too long after that. He's gonna back up on this fight. No, he's gonna actually go right for it, taking some fall damage, but won't die completely here. Realizes it's not the push, gonna back it up and wait till Sage gets back. Get the 2-3 pushing going, right? We saw Nat's team, they were doing a 1-2 or they were doing a 2-1 split. We see Diaz's squad doing a 2-1. We got the 2 entry mans coming in, and then, one of the players standing back. And that role seems to be able to change, whether it's going to be Diaz or Shifty or Sage being this player that slows down and anchors. It seems like they're able to shift the positioning and shift the role of that player at a snap of a finger.
Yeah, and this was something we saw in just Biffle's streams and scrims alone. Like, if he wants to be the anchor, it seems that Sage and Shifty are so keen on letting that happen. They'll let Biffle sit at range with an AR. But if it calls for an audible, he's more than happy to fly upfield, take point, and kind of run the offense through him. And then you have someone like Shifty who can work on the outside, or somebody like Sage who maybe peels off the play adjacently with an AR, and he finds players rotating in to take out Biffle. This team is so good, not only just consistency-wise, but their ability to play different play styles all at the same time on a switch. That's what makes them so dangerous, and that's why they've consistently found top 4 placements and why they're taking down some of the best. But to start here, a little bit of dangerous gunfights, gunshots at range that have tagged up Biffle, done enough damage to peel him off a play, but Shifty will be back in about a second, back to full strength for this squad. So a power play that was available now dissolves, and they will have to work through yet again another squad in front of them.
And not only is Shifting Sage kind of being the entry man here, but they got to be careful because it seems like, although they keep dying, I'm not too sure if they're able to even get their weapons back, their loadout, their weapons perks. So I'm not too sure if they're fighting and taking these fights with floor loot. But it seems as the game goes on, that becomes a lot harder to do. Right? At the beginning of the game, you could, you pick up an MB7 Challenger squad, be good to go. But as teams get more situated, teams get their loadouts, teams get their perks, you know, positioning, it's a little bit harder to just take these fights now by yourself with just floor loot. So, you know, we might see the players, you know, Sage and Shifty slow it down just a bit, get situated. But until then, we'll hop on board with FIFA. 6 eliminations already.
The longer it takes to get your kit, the more behind you fall in the gunfights. And well, you look at a player who's never going to have that problem. Of course, it's FIFA kill. Doesn't really. It feels like it doesn't matter what weapon he has. Like he's going to be fine. Makes it a 7th. And again, early on with revive still available, it takes down Vortex. We've seen that matchup a couple of times, but FIFA kill closing in on double digits to start here in game number 5, halfway through this tournament. And for a lot of squads going against this specific player, be ready to gun immediately when you see him. If you don't, you're going to get punished. FIFA, working on the down, will find it. Takes down Gorgonite, and working on the second, can't snap, but teammates are there to help.
Great snap coming in. That was Knight going false. Scummage got the trade, but Oaks close enough to help FIFA out here and get the res. Tempered vest on the bottom there as well. Good position for that. And not even that, too. When you're FIFA, right, top 3, top 4 at the moment, I think we got Knight in 2nd place. That's great to get that team out early, put them in a recovery state so you can kind of clean up more of the kills. FIFA has 8 eliminations already to begin with, so the 2nd and 3rd place team going head to head. I mean, the clash of 2 titans we usually see between Diazbiffle and Hisoka's squad, but now we're seeing a little bit of a change for 2nd and 3rd between FIFA and Knights.
Well, the benefit again is that we still have revives to give, so you have to be careful. We can't all go down, and that entire situation's out the window. But here, a team that we expected a bit more from in the placement department. We look at like the likes of individual talent for like Jukies and these kinds of tournaments. We're like, all right, like we know he's one of the best in the world, if not the best, but they just haven't had maybe the placements they wanted. Same thing with this squad here. I've been very surprised we haven't seen a couple of Victor Royales from Super Evan and company, how good they are when it comes to these dicey gunfights in very tough situations. Staying alive, one of the best in the world. But they have been running into some bad luck in this tournament, and yet again, they'll find themselves going down quickly. Z-Collar, Super Evan both out of the play. I think Swagg's the only one left alive, so we'll see what happens with them, but another really rough start for that trio.
Now I'm bored with the shark here, Joe. Again, with FTAC Siege, I swear, every time we're on Joe, he's in the water with his pistol, which, I mean, has helped him out a lot. Their team's in the top 10 position, right? Just one good game to close out, and they'll be good to go. Limax gonna be the entry man up ahead as well. Has an FTAC Siege, gonna get jumped in on by Believe in the water. Redman trying to take the shots, not gonna be able to get it. Joe's gonna be able to get one. That's gonna be on Shadow Wack. Trying to go in. He's gonna have to leap red here, try to make it out. 9 seconds. Does he get out?
He's out. He smokes. It helps, but I was worried about just his health, just staying alive in the water. All right, he's good. All right, so scary situation for some of our top teams here already. All right.
Yeah, it's not. I'm telling you, man, we're at the halfway mark, a little beyond that, and teams are starting to wake up now. Joe's not gonna be able to make it out of that one just yet, but the scary part is, yes, they live to fight another day, but now you have players coming back in like Climax, and he has to work a recovery in a 3rd zone about to be. It's gonna be difficult as the zone gets tighter. Teams are gonna bunker down, so the place you might want to loot might be already contested.
Yeah, and at this point, you'd want to be fully kitted. You want your loadouts by the time this zone clicks in. If you don't have it, boy, you're working off of a tough, steep mountain to climb. Because now you got teams moving into position. This is about like the halfway point through the game where teams are starting to set up not only for holding their line of sight for when they begin to rotate to final zone, but they're already weighing that decision right now. They're already thinking, all right, do we rotate now or do we rotate later? The call is now. They're going to make their move, and they're going to start looking for stragglers to third party on their way in. So you have to be ready. If you don't have your kit, go get it now. For players on the outskirts here, like on Rational, Joewo in the water as well, these are the last people you want to run into because they can just shut down your dreams of rotating.
Yeah, and this actually might be one of the craziest end games here. We're going to see it end towards Supermarket. It's going to be towards Marketplace. So, yeah, it's going to be a center zone. A lot of buildings, a lot of fights, limited water. So, those FTAC Sieges, although they're shining right now as the game goes on, they're going to be less and less reliable. Now on board with FIFA, who is just at 6 kills, now sitting at 9 with 16 teams still remaining. This could be a huge game for FIFA. If they're able to, you know, keep on this pace and close it out even in a top 3 situation, they could find themselves even possibly jumping to 1st place depending on how Diazbiffle and co perform. these last couple matches.
I think they just took down Almond. If memory serves, which was 2 seconds ago, we hope it does. That is a big kill regardless. You still have revives available for about 30 seconds. Keep that in mind. Wiz coming back might get helped out by the fact that we're looking for our 10th kill here if your FIFA kill. It'll cut the timer down, and there we go. But Resurgence will close in a minute. And these are dangerous spots to be in. Luckily zoned behind, but you got to be careful here, especially when you're rotating through the water.
Yeah, you got about 5 seconds. You got to put yourself in a position. That's where I like to mention setting up about a minute before, so you're not in a position for FIFA where you got to coin flip and hopefully no one's there. It's a little bit more reliable, but looks like they got a little bit easier. They got into PD, but that zone again, it's gonna go pull towards marketplace. So their travel and their rotation doesn't end here.
Yeah.
Just run
Yeah, people above you. You got Wiz in the water. And PD, all right, so like in this situation, do you take the fight above you in PD? Because, I mean, if you rotate, you're probably going to get spotted. You got Wiz already going down. I think you take this fight, right?
You can take the fight, or if you notice too, FIFA has been hoarding a couple smokes. He has 6 smokes to work with, so you could smoke your way in and just hope the PD team goes for a farther rotation, which it looks like it's going to be Wars' team. That's a player down. Now you definitely go for this res, get your teammate up, get situated again, and then get this rotation going. You got 10 seconds and that zone starts to move.
Great call on the smokes. Uses 2. Uses 3. Little fashioned smoke the cross, dip out of dodge. Nicely done. They stay alive, but you can hear the call. It's like, look, they flew off. We have a chance now to either rotate or take the challenge. And they need to rotate, but they got to worry about one player in front that's in text. They find one.
That's one coming in for FIFA. The aggro play is coming out of him now. He's got a knock going for the second. It's going to be believed. Now looking for one more player. FIFA on an absolute rampage, breaking double digits, 11 eliminations. He might have the most eliminations individually after the end of this match. We'll find out here in a second. They're trying to get control of this buy station to get that UE. The smokes are coming into play, and great job out of FIFA for hoarding all those smokes consistently. He had 6, now he does none, but is he able to get out?
That's 2, 3 different mortar strikes happening from different teams, but the smoke might have done enough. They might get a chance here. Okay, we'll drop momentarily. He was very, very weak, but here we go. FIFA back into the fray.
How much is res in this? 4 or 3?
And do they have enough cash? They're worried about the revive, but they should be worried about the players circling them as they are kind of in no man's land trying to make the most of this.
Gotta be careful here. Another res is coming to play, and here we're back on board with Joe. Again, switching for the F-Tac Siege, the MP5. Great plays out of him. They doesn't look like he has any eliminations yet, so although they are making an end game, it's it's only gonna multiply their kills, and if they have none, well,
yeah,
1.8 times 0 is 0. Getting some kills on board.
Yeah, this is the big dichotomy there. It's like, all right, like for a lot of teams, you can get to endgame on 3, 4, 5 kills alone, but multiplier doesn't really multiply much. In this spot, though, got to be careful. Again, exit strategy is not clean. You will get through unscathed. Keep that in mind. Looking at the utility across the board, they have nothing to work with. A bunch of plates, but no smokes, at least on the POV of Joewo. Here comes some investment. But you can hear footsteps all around. I mean, this is dangerous.
Yeah, the power position here is going to be on the left-hand side and directly across from them. Everything in front of them is usually filled with tents. Oh, it's filled with tents, so they're not going to have any hard cover up in front of them outside of this bus. So whoever's on that left-hand side, which I believe was either FIFA's team or Shifty's team, is definitely going to be at a bit of a power position here. We got super evidence Swagg. The last live trade down for the count, but they do have enough money for a res, hopefully being able to get it before they rotate in. This will be the last buy station for them. Chris sitting at 4 eliminations with the MP5. Gonna try to make a gas play here. Hopefully he's able to get his teammate up.
Going up. One up the ladder next to you. He's up there by you, Chris. Up top by you.
Good comms. I think that's Evan.
You gotta go to the next one, I think.
But
No,
this is
it's gonna close. It's gonna close.
Oh, man. That's tough.
No. That's what we call it unfortunate there, but
That's
this was
brutal.
7. Yeah, that definitely does hurt. It hurts me watching that. Those are my boys, but think about my boys Diaz here with 7. Good trophy play coming out of stage. I'd say very underrated. The trophy plays.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen much of it. I think around like week 4, we started to see more attention pulled towards the trophy, but again, it's small things that can just change the tide of a gunfight, let alone a rotation. And I think that smoke at least will give them an opportunity to move freely. And here they go.
Now, if Diaz is also with the flare here, his goal, so hopefully try to get in that zone quickly. If a teammate's knock, they can go into flare and back up. On board with Knight, who's him and his co have been consistently last couple games been making it end game, but can they continue on that path there? One-on-one, he's not going to be in the position to win that, make that 3.
Yeah, I dropped down.
Shifty here, trying to work this res, and if he goes down here, Diaz does have that flare, so it's almost as if Shifty can kind of go rogue just a little bit, or that's going to be Sage. That flare's going to get popped up hopefully sooner than later. It's going to be popped usage. Sage back up. Dude, Shifty has 7 as well. Wow.
Yeah. And you can keep, like, if Biffle goes down, okay, you try to loot his body, get the flare if you need it, but you want him up. He's the #1 player you want up. Like, protect him at all costs. And that's why you have Biffle do what he does 2 in a row. Takes down Vortex. Finds another. So much cash to work with. Doesn't really matter at this point, but you got to keep Biffle alive. Sage on the roam. Look how far out Sage is, and he has the high ground as well.
I believe Sage got brought back up from the flare, so he used that to take the high ground before anybody else could. Shifty now trying to take bottom and still trying to play it close to Diaz. So it looks like they're going to do a 2-1 split, even end game now in a 3v2 situation. The last 2 squads remaining. Are they going to be able to take the 3rd match of the day for them?
He's going to go for buy. That's both.
Comms coming out of Shifty. Yep.
They got both. They understand both players are pushing, and this is where you just throw numbers at it, right? Like, stack together as a team, sure. Play it smart, but if you keep your numbers up, classic Call of Duty gunfight. Just take the numbers as you got them, and you have a real good chance to close out this game. As right now on the roam, it will be Shifty. Biffle, very weak, goes down. Shifty finds one. Working on the second. Can't burn it. One more to go. Sage just has to find the gunfight.
Sage now looks like it'll be in a 1v2. I think those reses came in. He's trying to get those shots because it's going to be on Crinks. 1v1, calling it out from Shifty. It looks like one other player. And just like that, second place going in from Shifty's co.
Wow.
Wow. A complete change in just the time of that match.
Wow, it was Wars who actually picked up the victory. So yeah, you're right. It was a 1v2 that they invested heavily onto the ridge line. They were unable to secure the spot behind the mezzanine. And Wars, with 22 eliminations, will take down Shifty and Biffle in a really, really important game number 6. Like a crucial swing game that could have not only secured more points on the board for Biffle and company, but War steps up in late game situations, reflections like they did last week. That trio came in late and just found ways to win. That was a game that feels like Biffle should have won, and they didn't.